Hey guys, Warptech admin here, and today I'm going to be doing something a little different. This is my personal laptop. It's a Dell Vostro 3450. It's not a very good laptop, but I got it for free through my college when I was going there, and I've just been using it ever since then. The only issue I really have with it is the fact that it doesn't support 802.11n 5 GHz networks. So what I have here is an updated wireless module. I'm going to be installing that in this laptop today. So without much further to say, I'm going to go ahead and get started here in a minute. But first I want to go over some of the stuff I have. I've got a little precision screwdriver set here. I got this from Harbor Freight. It's pretty cheap. I have a standard Phillips head screwdriver. It is size number 1. I have some tweezers, which are nice for getting in and disconnecting those tiny little connectors. And then I have a magnetic dish for collecting screws, and a little plastic organizer for organizing other bits and pieces. I have taken this laptop apart one time, and it was to replace a hard drive with an SSD. And this laptop is not one that's easy to take apart. I think Dell kind of screwed up when they did that. To put the SSD in, I had to basically take this thing apart down to the motherboard. So it wasn't very easily accessible, and I don't think the PCI Express mini slot, or whatever it's called, is going to be very easy to get to on it either. So it's going to be a bit challenging, but I'm going to go ahead and try to do it. So here we go. So here's my SSD that I installed. It's 250 gig Samsung Evo, and as you can see, it's not accessible through the bottom plate. So in order to get to this, you have to basically take it completely apart. You have to remove the motherboard from the inside of this tray. So yeah, it's pretty difficult. Okay, so that was a little easier than I thought it was going to be. It definitely wasn't as easy as just taking the bottom plate off and replacing it like some laptops, but here it is, here, the existing module. So all I've got to do is unsnap these antenna wires like this, and then remove this one screw here, and then I can remove the old module just like that. I'm going to save the screw because I'll reuse it for the new one. And then the new one, as I throw it across the laptop there, will slot right into the old slot. I'm doing this backwards, so it's a little difficult. There we go. It'll slot right in. And then I will replace the screw. There we are, and then plug the antenna wires back into the correct slots. And the card does indicate which wire goes where. It's got a black arrow here and a white arrow there. You can't really see it on the GoPro that well probably, but those are there to make sure you get those plugged into the right slots. So now I'll just do the reverse of what I did to take it apart, and we'll boot it up, install the drivers, and we should be good to go. So I just noticed that I am missing a screw for this hole here. Now I know I didn't lose it taking it apart, so I must have lost it the first time I took this laptop apart to put the SSD in. But I do have some spare parts in a little container, so I'm going to go see if I have a matching screw, and if I do, I'll put that in this time. Okay, so I did find a perfect match in my spare screw container. So as you can see, it does pay off to save lots of screws from things. So I'm going to replace that and finish putting this back together. Here's a little tip about putting these small screws in. When you get the screwdriver on top of the screw in the screw slot, spin the screwdriver backwards a few turns until you hear it click, like that. And that way you know that it's going to thread correctly and you're not going to cross thread it. If you feel any resistance putting these screws in at all, stop and back off on the screw because you're cross threading it. It's very easy to do that. Okay, so the new module has been installed. Here's the old one. The only thing left to do now is boot up Windows. Hopefully Windows 10 will have the drivers ready to go. I'm not going to keep my fingers crossed on that, though. I may have to pull this up to my network and download the drivers manually, but we'll go ahead and boot it up and see what it does. I didn't feel like busting out the screen recording software just for this little bit, but here you can see Windows 10 did pick up the driver automatically, so that's working. And if we go on here, we are connected to my 5 gigahertz network, so everything worked perfectly. So that is how to replace the wireless card in a Dell Vostro 3450. Process is pretty similar for any other laptop, so if you're looking at doing that, you can use this as kind of a general guide on getting it done. It may be easier on some laptops. Most of the time there's just a little cover on the bottom of the laptop. You take that off and you have direct access to the card slot. But ones like this, generally the cheaper made laptops like this one, it can be a little harder to get to like mine was. Mine wasn't too bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was a nightmare putting an SSD in this laptop, and I thought this was going to be probably just as bad, but it ended up being not nearly as bad. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, guys, take it easy.